name is Haley Deaver, and this is Historical Events That Happened on My Birthday. April 12th, 1996 might not seem significant to y'all, but to me it is a date that will stay with me forever. As Americans, and even so Texans, we have a strong sense of pride towards our state, our country, and the world. John Tyler, General Pierre Beauregard, and Yuri Gagarin's actions on April 12th formed the world that we know today. Ever since I was born, I have wondered about the historical significance of my birthday. After 20 years of wondering, I finally decided to do some research, and today I'm going to share it with you about the Texas Treaty of Annexation with the United States, the beginning of the American Civil War, and the first human to orbit the Earth. First, let's take a trip back to 1844. The Office of the Historian stated that John Tyler, the president at the time, made it a greater possibility for the Republic of Texas to join the Union. By revisiting this discussion, Mexico decided to sever their diplomatic relations with the United States, which pushed the envelope with Congress to accept Texas into the Union. Although it was not ratified on this exact date, less than 9 months later, a joint resolution was formed, and 9 months after that, Texas was officially admitted into the Union. A short 17 years later, the American Civil War began. Major Robert Anderson refused to surrender Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina, to General Pierre Beauregard. Through this surrender, General Beauregard commanded the Confederacy to open fire. At 4:30 a.m. on April 12, 1861, Fort Sumter was under fire. Less than 34 hours later, and no casualties occurred, this battle was over. In the surrender terms, Major Robert Anderson was allowed to do a 100-gun salute with his men before leaving the fort forever. An entire century later, on the 100th anniversary of the beginning of the Civil War, we witnessed a historical event in the aerospace world. Yuri Gagarin was the very first human to orbit the Earth. According to Russian archives, he was the very first person to actually witness that the Earth was round and mostly covered with water. Although everyone knew this at the time, he was the first person to actually see it. In his space shuttle, the Vostok 1, Gagarin traveled at 18,000 miles per hour at an altitude of 187.75 miles above the atmosphere. He made a 108-minute trip around the Earth. This expedition intensified the space race, and according to NASA, less than 1 month later, America had their first astronaut in space. And a year after our first trip to space, President John F. Kennedy gave his speech about putting the first man on the moon. As we find ourselves back in the 21st century, I hope you are enlightened on the Treaty of Annexation with the United States, the Battle of Fort Sumter, and Yuri Gagarin's trip to space. As you can see, this date is not only important to me, but to Texas, the United States, and the world. I hope you have a newfound appreciation for the date of April 12th. I found out what happened on my birthday. I think it's time for y'all to find out what happened on y'all's.
Very good, Haley.
There you go. Good.
And here we are.
1, 2, 3.